All right. Come back to 2 Samuel 21. I need to share a story with you. And it's a story of 4 giants. In the Bible, there was not just one giant, Goliath. There actually were 5 giants. Goliath was one of them. There are 4 other giants. They are talked about now in chapter 21 of 2 Samuel. These 4 giants are all going to be killed. This is the last time giants are mentioned in the scripture. So verse 15, I'm going to start. Once again, there was a battle between the Philistines and Israel. David went down with his men to fight against the Philistines, and he became exhausted. And Ishbi-Benob, one of the descendants, now I don't like the NIV here, so you'll have to help me out. What do you have in verse 16? Ishbi-Benob, one of the descendants of, in my version it has Rapha. What else do you guys have for your versions? Giant. Rapha means giant. Now, and I wish the NIV hadn't changed it to Rapha, but let me give you technically. This is technical. So in the Hebrew, it's Rapha. You can translate it giant. Okay, so he's one of the giants. It could mean Goliath, actually. It could be another name for Goliath, that referring to the giant is referring to Goliath, the relative of the other 4 giants. Or it could actually be the family name of the original grandfather of these incredible giants. Now, these giants were all in height roughly from 9 feet to 13 feet in height. And they all worked for the Philistines, and they're all from the same town of Gath. So let's read on here. Verse 16. And Ishbi-Benob, one of the descendants of the giant, a descendant. So a lot of experts believe this is Goliath's son. This is his descendant, his son. We don't know how old Goliath was when he fought David. Goliath might have been 30, 40, and his son was there. He'd be 20 or 15. And he had a bronze spearhead weighing 300 shekels, who was armed with a new sword. And he said, I am going to kill David. Why was he going to kill David? Well, first of all, there's an emphasis that he has a new sword. What happened to his dad's sword? What happened to Goliath's swords? Getting a sword was very difficult and hard. What happened to his dad's sword? David has it. So it's emphasized his son had to get a new sword. He didn't get it from his dad. It wasn't passed down. And this son is, I'm going to kill David. Now, you understand why he wants to kill him. Because David killed my dad. And I'm out after him. That's giant 1. Now, let's come to giant 2. Verse 18. In the course of time, there was another battle with the Philistines at Gob. At that time, Shebeki, the Hushathite, killed Soph, one of the descendants of Rapha, or Goliath again. It could be a second son. Verse 20, here's the third giant. Third giant's verse 19. In another battle with the Philistines at Gob, Elkanah, son of Jair, the Bethlehemite, killed the brother of Goliath, the Gittite, who had a spear with a shaft like a weaver's rod. So this is the brother of Goliath. And then the 4th giant, verse 20, in still another battle which took place at Gath, that's their hometown, there was a huge man with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, 24 in all. And he also was a descendant or a son of the giant of Goliath. When he taunted Israel, Jonathan, son of Shimei, David's brother, killed him. These 4 were descendants. They're related to Rapha, or the giant, or Goliath. in Gath. They fell at the hands of David and his men. So there's the 4 giants. So we believe those 4 giants were present on the day that David was fighting Goliath. Goliath was the dad. He has his brother there. He's got his kids there. And Goliath says, I'm going to go take this David. David's 15 years old. But he sees the enemy. He sees the Philistines. He sees there's 5 giants. There's not 1 giant. There's 5 of them. He picks up 5 stones. You never know what's going to happen. He only needs 1 stone. When Goliath goes down, all the Israelites get, excited, and they head out, and the Philistines all go running, and the giants go back to their town. But do not think that the giants have forgotten who killed dad, who killed brother. And so, at the age of about 65, the son of Goliath, with his new sword, is, I'm going to kill this guy. I'm going to kill this David. And we're told, if you look at that in verse 15, David's exhausted. He just doesn't, it's harder for him to do that warfare when you're 65 years. He wasn't as, obviously didn't take care of himself like I do. So he got a little bit tired, And there's one mean son. There is one mean son that's going to take revenge. Verse 16. Ishbanab, one of the descendants of the giant of Goliath, whose bronze spearhead weighed 300 shekels, who was armed with a new sword, said, I'm going to kill that guy. And look who comes to the rescue. Who comes to the rescue? Abishai. You probably never heard a sermon on Abishai, and now you see how often David's friend is mentioned in the scripture. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, came to David's rescue. He struck the Philistine down and killed him. And then, just so you know, David's men swore to him, saying, never again will you go out with us to battle, so that the lamp of Israel will not be extinguished. Well, as we know, it's only actually a few short years. David's 67, 60, whatever. By the next chapter, he's dying, and he goes to heaven. So his men and Abishai, David, you can't fight anymore. Your fighting days are over. That giant was going to kill you, and now your days are over, and David soon goes to be with the Lord. That's a good friend. It's a friend. A friend's a gift from the Father, a gift of God.